What is a percent? If we break down the word percent into the parts per and cent, we can first see that per means out of. Now let's look at cent. Where have you heard that root? Perhaps in century, or in money, or in centimeter. In all of these examples, cent is referring to 100. Therefore, a percent is a comparison of a quantity out of 100. We use percents to be able to compare ratios and fractions. It can be difficult to compare fractions or ratios when their denominators are different numbers. For example, if you are trying to compare 16/24 and 30/36, it is difficult because the fractions have different denominators. However, if we convert both of these to percents, they become easier to compare because they will both be out of 100. 16/24 is 67%, and 30/36 is 83%. Therefore, 30/36 is greater. One place you may encounter percents is in weather forecasts. Meteorologists use percents to describe precipitation potential. What does it mean if there is a 40% chance of precipitation? That means that with the conditions they are predicting, 40% of the time, or 40 out of 100 times, it rains or snows. You may also encounter percents in sports statistics. Percentages are used to compare players and teams to one another. For example, in football, one of the statistics used to compare quarterbacks is pass completion. Since the number of passes different quarterbacks have thrown are different, we can use the pass completion percentage to compare quarterbacks since percentages convert ratios to being compared to 100. There are many other statistics used to compare players and teams as well, such as field goal percentage in basketball and on-base percentage in baseball. Nutrition labels are another place that you can find percentages. Foods have nutrition labels that tell you the amounts of different vitamins, fats, sugars, etc. These labels also show what percentage one serving supplies you of your daily value of these substances. For example, in the label for goldfish, we see that one serving contains 10% of your daily value of sodium. Nutrition labels can sometimes have percents greater than 100. This is because the serving may have more than the recommended daily intake of a particular substance, like we see in the fact that the orange juice has 110% of the recommended daily value of vitamin C. Let's say that you get 36 out of 48 questions correct on a test. How did you do? You could guess that you did fairly well, but just how well? Did you get an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F? To determine the letter grade, let's first convert the fraction to a percent. To do this, you need to compare the score you got to an equivalent ratio out of 100. Since our base system is a 10-base system, and 100 is a factor of 10, we can first divide the number of questions you got correct, which was 36, by the number of questions in total on the test, which was 48. This converts your score to a decimal number. To find the percent, you simply multiply the decimal you got by 100, since percents are out of 100. In this case, we see that 36 out of 48 gives us a 75%, which is a C. Have you ever gone to the store, shopped online during a sale, or seen an advertisement of a product being a certain percentage off? Now we are going to see how we can calculate what the price of a product is with a discount. Let's say you go to a store and the entire store is 35% off. You put a number of things in your shopping basket, but before you check out, you need to make sure that you have enough money to buy all of the items. If the total cost of the items before the discount is $78 and you have $52, do you have enough money? Since the sale is 35% off, we can determine that we will be paying 65% of the total cost. We can determine this by subtracting 35% from 100%. Once we have the percent we will pay, we convert this percent to a decimal by dividing by 100, which just moves the decimal to the left 2 spaces. Then we multiply the total cost by this decimal to get the cost with the discount. In this example, we multiply $78 by 65 hundredths to get $50.70, which means that with $52, you do have enough to buy all of the items. Do you like to go out to eat? Well, when you go out to a restaurant, it is important to tip your waiter or waitress. Typically, you tip 15 to 20% of your bill. If you do not have an understanding of percents, you may end up unknowingly tipping more than this or not enough. To easily figure out a tip, we can begin by taking the bill. Let's say it is $33. Since 20% is twice 10%, we can find 10% of the bill and then double that amount. To find 10% of the bill, divide the bill by 10, which simply moves the decimal 1 time to the left. Once we find the 10%, we multiply that number by 2. Therefore, for a $33 bill, 10% of the bill is $3.30 and 20% is $6.60. To find a 15% tip, you can follow a similar procedure, but instead of multiplying the 10% by 2, you add half of the 10%, which is 5%, to the 10%. In this case, of a $33 bill, we already know that 10% of 33 is $3.30. Then if we take $3.30 and divide it by 2, we get $1.65, which is 5% of 33. Thus, 15%, which is 10% plus 5%, is equal to $3.30 plus $1.65, which equals $4.95. Therefore, if your bill is $33, you should tip between $4.95 and $6.60.